going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Above the Rim. I'm Austin Townley, joined by James Derrick, and today we have our boy Caden with us, presented to you by Afterthought Sports. Good afternoon, fellas.
How's it going? Happy to be here.
Dude, thanks for coming on.
We got a new face, Caden I don't know how often you'll be on this in the future. I'm really not sure. Kind of just, you're a plug and play asset, but you know some ball. Honestly, possibly more than Jack Haskell. So.
Oh no. Oh no.
Definitely more.
Hey, you never know. I don't
think
he's gonna be watching this anyway, so it's fine.
No, that's true. You won't find out.
Yeah. So we started recording an episode this morning, and then we got booted from the room. So now we're here.
That sucked.
4 o'clock. A little late, but we're ready. We're here. We're energized right now. This morning I was exhausted. James was tired. Jack was spitting whatever.
Just whatever came to mind, honestly. But considering we still don't know if we'll get booted from this room eventually, you want to just hop right into it?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a couple series from the first rounds that we can go over much quicker than the other ones. So I figure we can just skip pretty much right by them. I'm talking about, Cavs Heat. I mean, that's a 4-0 Cavs.
Domination.
Yeah, that
pretty much dominated the
That
Heat.
was bad. Embarrassment is the word that comes to mind for the Miami Heat when I think about that.
You should give them credit. They had like 37 wins, right?
Yeah.
To make the playoffs.
It's pretty good.
That's good for them.
Tyler Hero tried his best. He didn't play good enough in that last final game to avoid the sweep. I think what do you have, like 9 points?
Yeah, he definitely choked in the fourth game.
It's fine though. It happens.
Yeah, he couldn't avoid the sweep. I think the Grizzlies, they also could not avoid a sleep. Sleep. I think they fell asleep maybe during the series.
Asleep. Yeah, I fell asleep watching it.
Game one?
Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah,
Abysmal.
So OKC took care of the Grizzlies. That was also not a very competitive series. Some of the games were not bad, though.
The game on Easter wasn't bad.
Yeah,
it got bad, but it wasn't horrible.
Was it game 3 that was close, or 4?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was game 4. The Grizzlies were gonna win actually, and I was with you guys. I was like, nah, they're gonna come back and they're gonna win, and they won. They won by like 15.
Yeah. And then just to skip right past it, we'll also go to Celtics Magic. Celtics won that 4-1. You can make some arguments. The Magic aren't entirely healthy. I know they probably wish they had Jalen Suggs, but I think even with Jalen Suggs, I mean, Caden, do you think they?
Celtics. At the end of the day, it's the Celtics.
Yeah, they're
Magic are a team to look out for. They got Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, Jalen Suggs, great young core that'll develop. But
I like Anthony Black too. I think he's pretty good.
He can absolutely develop.
Yeah.
Jet Howard, I don't think he got any playoff minutes, but
no.
I mean, I think
they got guys who can develop.
Overall, as a unit, I think they play great defense. But, I mean, the problem was they just couldn't score, and the Celtics played, better defense. And that's kind of weird to think about considering the Magic are such a strong defensive team. But they also could not get it done against the Celtics. Now we can finally get into some better series here.
Yes, we can.
A little bit better. Let's just go Lakers-Timberwolves. I mean, the Timberwolves took care of them in 5 games, but I think it was a little bit closer than just simply a 4-1. Gentleman's sweep. But I mean, Austin, what are your takeaways from this game or this series?
Luka can't guard at all. Still, probably never will be able to. It's pretty abysmal defense, I would say. LeBron's age was slightly exposed, I would say as well. Had a tough time guarding Julius Randle. He played great that series. I kind of like Julius Randle on the Timberwolves. He's been playing really well alongside Anthony Edwards, and Anthony Edwards wants him to succeed. He wants him to shoot a lot of shots because in his mind he's like, shit, it's me and Randall and Gobert whenever he wants to. Rudy Gobert, but I call him Gobert. Shout out Flight. That's funny. But like, the Lakers have no big man. How are you going to win a playoff series when you have Jackson Hayes as your starting center and he barely played? Like, Lakers went small ball majority of this series.
Eventually it was Rui Hachimura being their center, and Rudy Gobert, it doesn't matter. Rui Hachimura is like 6'8". He's gonna put up his 20 and 20, which he did in Game 5.
And watching this series, it just seems so hard for the Lakers to get a rebound. I think a lot of the rebounds that they did get were tipped at least 3 times, and then someone finally just comes away with it right before it goes out of bounds. It felt like it was going to be very, very taxing, very difficult for them to to just get a rebound. And I mean, that's a lot of how you're going to win games. And Rudy Gobert went off for
He had 30 and 20 in their last game. It was unreal.
Yeah.
And Shaq could not believe it on Inside the NBA, which I don't think anyone could.
Believe it.
Yeah. The fact that Rudy Gobert was the reason that they won that game is just, come on. Like,
I mean, that's just exploiting a weakness. And,
come on.
Another thing I didn't love to see was just Luka complaining pretty much every second he got. I thought maybe there's a chance that's something he's going to like grow out of and maybe stop doing eventually. I guess not yet.
He needs the right coach behind him. Maybe JJ Redick will hold him more accountable next season. I don't know. I don't really think that's going to be the case next year. But I think with the right coach behind Luka is when you'll get him to, like, chill out, bro.
I know.
You don't need to be complaining about every call. That's not how the game works. You're not going to get every call. And matter of fact, they're not going to give you calls if you're sitting there complaining the whole time. Like, come on. Like, the refs, they're going to get annoyed with you. They're going to give you less calls the longer that you complain about the ones that you're not getting or that you feel you should be getting. And sometimes there really wasn't fouls to complain about, and he was just complaining.
Yeah, so, I remember after one of them, like, he just straight up fouled a Timberwolves player. I forgot who.
Yep.
And he starts pointing at the bench emphatically, like, challenge that. And they show the replay. And he just straight up fouled him.
Clear foul. I love that Anthony Edwards went around the arena after and was just talking trash to all the Lakers fans. And he was – I love that he pointed out the fact that everyone was saying Lakers are 5, Lakers are 5. And then he was like, nah, Timberwolves are 5. So it was
such
cool.
a fun player to watch. I mean,
he is. He's really good in the playoffs. He was electric. He wants to go out and guard any team's best player. That's the best part about him. He plays both ends of the floor. He's not just offense. He's not just defense. He wants both, and he wants the best player on both ends that he's guarding and guarding him. He wants a challenge. Took out KD. Took out Book last year. He just took out LeBron and Luka Doncic, looking to take out Steph Curry in the next round, which is.
Speaking of the next round, I mean, they kind of have a similar advantage against the team they're going to be facing in the round 2 as they did in round 1. They definitely have the big advantage there. We can talk about that a little bit later, but I also want to dive into Pacers-Bucks. Pacers win that series in just 5. What do both of you have to say about that series?
John Halliburton. That's what I got to say.
John, that's it? It's just John Halliburton?
No, Giannis has no help, dude. Holy cow.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad to watch Dame Lillard go down, torn Achilles. But what are your guys' thoughts on Tyrese Halliburton? I mean, do you think he's overrated?
Okay, I tweeted this. How is Tyrese Halliburton the most underrated player, but he is taking his team to the second round while also leading his team in majority of the stats? Explain that to me, please.
I mean, I don't know who filled out the survey, but I'm sure they're regretting their choice now. I think there's no possible way you can call somebody the most overrated player and they're not going to play with a whale-sized chip on their shoulder at that point. So I think you got to choose carefully if you're going to do something like that. And I think a lot of people were just salty he made it to the conference finals, and he could set them up to do that again.
If he does that again this year, he deserves to be having the same type of hype as Ant. I feel like Ant's got the same chance to take the Timberwolves 2 years in a row to the conference finals. Halliburton's setting the Pacers up to be the same way right now.
Yeah,
I like it a lot. I think this team is just filled with amazing role players.
He's so fun to watch, I think, and the Pacers are built around him. They're built to run in the fast break. And it's fun basketball.
It is.
That's the reason why I did like watching Lakers in the regular season a lot, because it's getting a rebound and running, and that's the way the Pacers have been playing.
Yeah, no, and it's definitely been working for them. The Bucks a little bit undermanned, lose, only getting one game in that series. But was that Giannis's last game as a Buck? I mean, what does the front office have to do to keep him? What are you guys thinking about that?
Resign Thanasis.
The only way he stays if they bring back Thanasis for him. Could you imagine? Dude. All right, Giannis, if you stay, we'll sign your brother out of pity.
Exactly.
That'd be awesome. But no, I think there is a very real world where we see Giannis on a different team next season. I mean, there have been reports in years past, if the Bucks are not willing to make moves to better this roster, Giannis has no problem with going somewhere else to succeed in the rest of his career. I know he looks at the Knicks or New York, like Brooklyn. He likes that. He likes the idea of being in a big market. He plays in Milwaukee. Nobody wants to go in Milwaukee and sign. They put a great roster together around him when they had Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis. Brook Lopez was playing incredible back then. It was good.
Low-key.
No, he still is good. I don't even think Brook Lopez is going to be a buck next season. I think this roster is going to get a completely different feel to it next season. We're not going to see Dame playing. I think he will be a buck, just not next year, maybe come the end of the season. If they make the playoffs, maybe we'll see him in there. But I just don't think Giannis stays in Milwaukee. I think he ends up going somewhere like if Miami can pile assets together, if Brooklyn can pile assets together. Houston has a lot of assets to give up.
There are some top-tier teams that have assets that are like, Houston, the Thunder even there is a
they just have the most assets.
There is a world where the Thunder give up a lot of their assets.
There is a world where we could see Zion Williamson for Giannis Antetokounmpo. New Orleans is a big market. You never know. I think this is, Jack said it earlier, this is the offseason of Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think it's going to be one of the craziest NBA offseasons in a while.
Yeah, they've been pretty crazy, I will say. But speaking of crazy, now we can get into the good series. Let's hop over to the West side. I mean, Warriors-Rockets. The Warriors win in 7. Austin, I know you had a strong take on that, but we did admit it would be a close series. Yeah. But we want to remind everybody.
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody. There was no way in hell the Houston Rockets were winning a first-round matchup this year.
So strongly about it.
I was right, gang. I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
They're not ready. I mean, you could tell that they just were not ready for the bright lights. Game 7, they choked pretty bad. I would say the reason that they even stood in that series was, one, Jimmy Butler went down. They lost that game that he got hurt in. The game was close when he went down, and even when he came back, he was limping a little bit. But Tari Eason, Alperen Sengun, those guys, Jabari Smith Jr., those guys stepped up big time. Steven Adams stepped up huge. But it's not enough. Not enough.
I mean, you touched on Steven Adams. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody knows that he was plus 53 and plus minus in that series.
That's unreal.
Insane.
Playing with both of those bigs, they tried to exploit that weakness that Golden State had, and I think that's definitely what kept them in the series a little longer without the experience. But now the Warriors, they move on. They face the Timberwolves. They're going to have to play against a similar matchup in the second round. Maybe the Timberwolves can take a better advantage of that, being a little bit older. But I think you also have to shout out Amen Thompson, the Rock. I mean, he played phenomenally. You have some strong takes on Amen Thompson.
Yeah. Well, Steph Curry said that that's probably like the best defense he's ever played against in his career, which is really saying something. Like, that's kind of unreal for Steph Curry to be saying that.
Yeah, that's definitely
I think these Thompson twins, man. Specifically Amen, though. I really do think that he's going to be like one of the best players in the NBA.
Yeah, you want to get a little more concise. Like, what does one of the best mean?
Like, I think he'll be top 5.
All right, sure.
Yeah, I do think there's going to be a world that we live in where Amen Thompson develops into that.
Really?
I mean,
do you think so too?
I could see it.
He's the next Kawhi. He's the next Kawhi.
If he does develop a shot, like both of them, either of them, they both can be dangerous players. They're so athletic, built in a lab to defend. I mean, like, they're competitors.
I'm telling you, man. I think Amen Thompson next season is going to surprise a lot of people. I think he's going to shoot around 32% from 3. I think he's capable of doing that. That's not a hard ask of a year 3 player. I think he's going to really take the time and focus on his jump shot this offseason because Houston's going to force him to regardless. They're going to make him try to shoot because why not? Everyone needs to shoot in this day and age in this game. So I think there's going to be an argument later down the road where Amen Thompson's going to enter in that top 5, maybe top 3 type of player. I genuinely do believe he's the next Kawhi Leonard.
I will say, I thought Ben Simmons would be very good too, and all he needed to do is develop a jump shot.
Yeah, but I don't see Amen Thompson passing up wide open layups.
It's different player.
Yeah, wildly different.
Probably bigger competitor.
Yeah.
By a pretty wide margin.
Yeah, and we've touched upon some of the stuff that the Rockets did well. What went wrong for the Rockets here in this series?
Jalen Green. Jalen Green didn't score enough, and I think that's what they were relying on heavy.
I was really hoping to see Jalen Green kind of come to his own this playoff, similar to like Anthony Edwards had last season. But yeah, 13 points, 5 boards, 2 assists.
It's just not good enough.
Not what you're looking for from your 1-2 option.
Yeah,
he's second over. Sorry about that. Little technical difficulties a little bit. James, why don't you pick up where you left off?
Yeah, so I was just saying that, Jalen Green, he shot like 37% from the field, which, I mean, that's just not going to get it done. Not from 3, from the field. I mean, you need more than that to get it done in a 7-game series. I mean, 7 games is not a small sample size either. Like, once you get to the 7th game, you think the number should round out at least a little bit, but they didn't. Buddy Hield had a hell of a Game 7 for the Warriors as well.
Great Game 7.
Probably his best game ever.
Yeah, probably. I mean, since Oklahoma when he sent Dylan Brooks home from Oregon.
Mm.
You know that? You know that? He sent Dylan Brooks home when they were in Oregon in the tournament, and Buddy Hield took him out this season in the NBA. He turned into prime Klay Thompson, it looked like, dude. It was that 3 that was basically an and one where Fred VanVleet, I think, like shoved him over, and he still made the shot. They didn't call a foul or anything. That was unreal. That was Buddy Hield's heat check moment. That was cool. I love to see Buddy Hield going off like that because Steph was struggling. Jimmy wasn't scoring the ball super easy in that first half. So I would say he's the reason they probably took away that Game 7 win.
Yeah, and I think it's also worth noting that Draymond I mean, he played Depoy level defense that entire series.
His defense on Şengün was top tier. I mean, Şengün some games Şengün couldn't do anything on other than distribute the ball, which Şengün does do pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, Baby Jokic is what a lot of people call him. So, he has a game comparable to that of Jokic, not quite at that level.
Not there yet, but he's getting there.
He shows a lot of promise. I think the Rockets team as a whole should be good. However, I know you've touched on this, Austin. Kevin Durant could be moved this offseason. Not could be, will be moved this offseason most likely. The Rockets could be a team that's out there bidding for him. Do you think, out of all the young guys they got, who I think they got to try to keep him in?
They've already said he's untouchable.
Yeah,
he's untouchable. If you trade him, you're so stupid.
Who are you trying to get rid of? I mean, is Jalen Green one of those guys now?
I would be happy with a package of Tari Eason, Jabari Smith, or Jalen Green and picks. I think if we can get our picks back, depending on where our pick this year falls, I think we could potentially get that back. Any combination, I think Tari Eason in there is good. I think he's one of those guys that needs to be part of this trade. If it needs to go through, if Phoenix is going to get that done, I think they know that. They know that they need a good haul back for Kevin Durant because trading Kevin Durant for another star, that's not going to work. It's not going to. We still have Bradley Beal making $50 million. Not great. I mean, he's borderline. He's a role player now. Like he is. He's a role player making $50 million. Insane.
Congratulations.
Shout out Paul George.
Yeah, him too.
You're similar struggles as a Sixers fan.
Kevin Durant, I just hope. I would love if he stayed in Phoenix, but the realistic option here is get something back for him in a big return.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, Warriors Rockets? No, we're good.
I told you.
All right, fine. Yeah, whatever you want to say, Austin. I think it's true. Can head on
true.
over.
I've been saying this for months, man.
Let's go back to the East. Let's wrap up Knicks Pistons. 6-game series, but I think this easily could have been 7. Probably a lot closer.
Should have been 7.
Than the box would say.
I mean, Josh Hart found them.
Yeah.
So, what are the thoughts on this series so far? After it's finished up.
I mean, Cade's a star. I think that Cade showed that he can definitely be a star in this league.
Certified.
Yeah. Pistons inexperience is another big thing, similar to the Magic, similar to the Rockets.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, yeah, they kept it to 6 with the Knicks. That's pretty solid. I mean, top 3 team in the East, but yeah, I mean, it was a good series.
Yeah, I think especially the way they dropped game 1. They let the Knicks close that game out on a 20-something run. I forgot what it was, but they dropped game 1. Yep. That's just a total inexperienced loss. Yep, that's what you have absolutely. To think. The 100%. Whole team is playing their first playoff game in the Garden, and they just get overwhelmed to end that game. That's a game they could have won. Then you got to think about the foul at the end of game 4, 5. I forgot where we're at this point.
It was in Detroit.
It was in Detroit. Yeah. Regardless,
Just game 4.
You got to think about the foul there. And then, they couldn't close game 6 in Detroit. I mean, Jalen Brunson just absolutely
that was an unreal
abused
move.
Asar Thompson.
Unreal shot.
Wow.
Asar got abused on that. That was bad. That was really bad. And then Malik Beasley needs to know to catch the ball before he tries to shoot it because it just went right through his hands. He was thinking about shooting the ball even
Malik
before he had it.
was thinking about shaking his hips after.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was doing. He wasn't like, I don't know. It's just it comes down with experience and patience. It's weird because he has some of the most experience on that team out of anybody on that Pistons team. So I think that was a really, really bad mental mistake made by Malik Beasley. I know Cade Cunningham. I think he's a superstar. I think he's one of the best point guards in the NBA. We're going to see that next season and years to come. I wouldn't be surprised if he went on to win an MVP at some point in his career. I think he's really like that. I think Cade Cunningham is a real deal when it comes to guards in the NBA. He's 6'7", 6'8". He can play both ends of the floor. He kind of moves like Kyrie. The way he breaks people down, he kind of not
quite as quick.
Not quite like that, but his movements, his footwork, it kind of reminds me of him.
Yeah,
I was impressed.
Yeah, no, he did everything he could. I think he also you have to talk about the fact that he distributes the ball at such a high level that he'll never be one of those guys that puts up a shot because he thinks he has to. He'll always make the right play.
Yeah, I mean, he's making Tobias Harris look good.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Got a big Tobias Harris hater over here. Yeah. Sixers fan.
Yeah, like he's not afraid to not take the last shot.
Yeah.
He's not, and he's proven that. Like he wants his teammates to take that shot. He wants his teammates to succeed. He wants them to be, making everything make him look good. But also like he's not scared of being like, okay, no, I don't need to shoot it. I'm the one, blah blah blah. No, he's a selfless player, and I think that's one of the best intangibles about him.
Yeah, I'd like to hear from both of you. Do you think the Pistons need to make any moves going into this offseason? There's a lot of guys available. I know you don't want to give up a lot, but I mean they got a good young team. What do you guys think, Austin? I think you kind of know.
If they could trade for Giannis, that's another team that has a lot of assets. You use that Tobias Harris contract. You could use a guy like Isaiah Stewart who has some value, some bench guys that they have. You might have to give up Jaden Ivey, but I would be okay with that if I have Asar Thompson. But in like the grand scheme of things, in all seriousness, no. If I'm Detroit, I'm keeping that roster exactly how it is. Maybe go in the offseason and find a better point guard off the bench, like DeAnthony Melton if he's healthy. I know he's hurt. He tore his ACL with Golden State, right?
Yeah.
So a guy like that, maybe like a Seth Curry or something like that to come shoot off the bench. But I wouldn't mess with it.
Yeah, I can't see him making too many big moves. Keeping their core together. I mean, Ron Holland might. Yeah. Ron Holland's got so much potential. Asar Thompson, Jaden Ivey still has good potential. There's guys that it might not be worth it yet to try and make a leap for a Giannis or Kevin Durant and some other superstar that might become available.
No, I mean
I agree.
They stormed into the 6th seed this year. I think they could easily find themselves, top 5 with the way the East is next year.
I mean, their dream scenario is if Devin Booker becomes available, go out and get
really?
D-Book.
Is it really?
I mean, yeah,
that's their dream scenario. You just said they don't need to add anybody.
I'm just saying. I'm saying like years down the line, if they could get Devin Booker back in Detroit in his hometown, have a backcourt of Cade Cunningham and Devin Booker, that'd be pretty cool.
I don't think that would work.
You don't think that would work?
I just don't like Devin Booker.
I think that works better than Devin Booker and Bradley Beal.
You're just rage baiting me right now.
All right. Any final thoughts, Knicks, Pistons, or else we can move on to the best series in the first round so far?
No, Detroit, I think, opened a lot of eyes up. That's all I got to say.
Definitely, for sure. So Nuggets, Clippers, that was the best series.
Hands down.
Nuggets win 4-3. Saw some game winners in that series, or game winner. But, obviously a lot of clutch moments. Big takeaways from both you guys. Who wants to start?
You can go ahead, Austin.
All right. Well, I mean, Aaron Gordon, him and Russell Westbrook, unbelievable. I mean, the amount of threes Aaron Gordon was making, they were kind of letting him shoot. But even when he was contested, he was still hitting them. That game-winning dunk that he had, that was unreal. The timing of that, the play that was drawn up was perfect. I think their interim coach is doing a very good job.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even know his name. I know it's hard to respond. Yeah.
I think it's something like that.
But it's like...
Or Adel.
it's kind of blowing my mind the way that Russell Westbrook is playing. He's just going in there to mess things up. He was making his threes 39% from three. That's unreal. And over a steal per game. Russell Westbrook was the X factor in the series. I think Michael Porter Jr. could have been better.
Yeah.
But
David Adelman. Sorry. I was watching that on Inside. Yeah, on Inside the NBA last night. They were giving him a lot of props, especially after the game that happened last night, which we'll get into. But to stay with Nuggets Clippers, Caden, any thoughts about that?
Jokic is the obvious player you also got to bring up. He averaged a triple-double, 24 points, 11.6 rebounds, 10.1 assists.
Unreal.
He's the MVP.
He's the best player in the world. And it's not even close.
Yeah,
it's not.
And we're starting to take it for granted, honestly, at this point. I think for the Clippers, I think you kind of got what you thought you would get from Kawhi and James Harden. You're kind of grimacing. What's up with that?
Oh. James Harden might be like the most unclutch player of our generation.
Possibly.
Horrible.
You got what you thought you would get out of James Harden for 7 games.
For 6 out of the 7
games. That's what I'm saying. For the series as a whole.
And then,
once again, James Harden just crumbled when the lights were the brightest in Game 7. I mean, come on, man. This was, I think, in my opinion, this was his best chance to go out and win his ring. This Clippers team is really deep. They can really defend very well, better than most NBA teams. I think this was the season to get it done for James Harden. I don't see him having a chance to win a ring for the rest of his career. I don't see that, especially for being as frozen in clutch time. And it blows my mind. He's one of the best scorers in NBA history. He's a prolific NBA scorer. He can hit the three. He can go to the rack on you. He can hit the mid-range. He can create his own space, and he can create for his teammates. He's been averaging 10 assists per game for the past 5 years of his career. He changed his entire game. He changed. It's insane, but he can't get it done when the lights are the brightest. That's not good.
That's a fair point. I mean,
it's disappointing.
You're not gonna win if you can't get it done when the lights are bright, but it's just a damn shame that these teams had to play in the first round.
And
I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah,
it was cinema. It was great to watch, but it does suck because Clippers absolutely could have dominated another series.
I agree.
I would have loved to watch it. Like if we could have had Nuggets Clippers, and Nuggets Thunder would have been. It's fine where it's at, but if maybe we could have had T-Wolves Clippers.
Yeah, that would have been nice. Even Golden State Clippers.
Golden State Clippers.
And I think the Clippers would just annihilate Golden State, in my opinion.
Oh, they probably
vets
would.
Versus vets,
yeah.
And Clippers got a little bit more of a big man presence. But let's try to stay away from the imaginary matchups. If you guys want to head into round 2, we can, unless you got some more thoughts on the Nuggets Clippers.
I think the Clippers should have played Chris Dunn more.
Possibly, he made some differences.
Was great in that series.
I think he should have
one of the best perimeter defenders. I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think he should have gotten more PT, especially in that Game 7, because Jamal Murray was pretty good.
That's another.
Jamal Murray's pretty good. Playoff riser. But that's.
There's a graph of that.
Yeah. Jamal Murray's nice in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think a lot of when you're watching these games, when you get into the fourth quarter, the only way that a team like the Nuggets loses is if they have empty possessions. Like if they just attempt a shot after at every possession, the Nuggets will win. And Chris Dunn was one of those guys that got rid of that. He'd get some steals at the top of the key and get layups, which you rarely see that in the playoffs. You don't see teams get not take care of the ball like that, but he causes havoc defensively. So I think that's something that they definitely needed. I don't think they forced enough turnovers in those last 3 games in particular. Yeah. But regardless, was so close, could have gone the Clippers' way as well. To stay with the Clippers, we could talk about arguably the best game of the playoffs so far last night, round 2. We have the Thunder and the Nuggets. The Nuggets came away with this one. I mean, we both watched that last night. What do you guys think?
The Nuggets were down by 20 at one point. That was unreal. Aaron Gordon. He's just like Mr. Clutch this playoffs. That was unreal. To take that shot that he took, I was like, "Oh my god." But then as soon as he let go, I was like, "Oh my god, it's going in."
Yeah.
You could just tell. It was unreal. The arena went completely silent. It was crazy. nobody was happy that he made.
I'm curious to know, what are your guys' thoughts? So, Thunder were up 3 with like 12, 13 seconds to go, and they fouled to like, you know, so they couldn't get a 3-pointer. The Nuggets couldn't get a 3-pointer. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I not to just completely echo what Kenny Smith was saying on Inside the NBA last night, but I think fouling up 3 is fine because, you know, they honestly, one of the fouls, they fouled Aaron Gordon. He could have easily missed one of the free throws, and then they would have been
a lot of free throws.
Then they would have been screwed. But you know, when they have the full length of the court to go, if you give them some pressure and maybe take 3 seconds off the clock and then you foul, you know, then some time comes off the clock, but you foul as soon as the ball gets in. You're just giving them too much time.
I think, I mean, with the Thunder have one of the best like defensive efficiencies in the league. Trust your defense for one possession. I mean, worst comes to worst, they hit a 3, send it to OT, but I mean, in the situation where you're fouling, you're shooting free throws back and forth, and Chet misses his free throws, Aaron Gordon goes down and ends it. I mean, I feel like, for me in a scenario, I feel like trusting the defense, especially when it's one of the best
when
in
it
the
is
league.
One of the best units in the league, yeah.
I mean, you got Lou Dort, Caruso.
Like,
I mean,
yeah. I'm just going to backpack off what you guys are saying. I would not have fouled when they did, where they did. They fouled full court. That's not the play. That wasn't a great coaching decision by Diagonal, as he's the Thunder coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a great coaching decision in my opinion. I think I agree with what James was saying. You know, let them get down the court, and if you think that they're going to get a shot off, then you foul. Right. Because guess what? Now there's like 3 seconds left on the clock compared to what, 6, 9.
Yeah.
It was it was unreal, and it blew my mind. And I knew as soon as this foul game was going to start, some random BS was about to happen, and that's exactly what went down. And we saw Aaron Gordon take them out. And in their home court, Denver just took home court advantage away from the Thunder.
It's cold.
I don't know, man. I've been saying this for a while. I think Denver is going to go ahead and win the ring this year.
Yeah, and I think this is where you start to credit David Adelman a little bit more than you would have initially thought. You know, I think whether it's him or Malone in this situation, I think you still get the same result. But the team just, as they mentioned, continued to have that same level of intensity. You know, we're pretty much ping-ponging between you know a 15-point game and a 5-point game, and it's coming back and forth. But something's going to happen, and that's pretty much exactly what did. So I think he deserves a lot of credit, and I think Jokic has been coaching this team as well. I think he's been huge to the team infrastructure when it comes to these times where you just need to keep chipping and chipping away, because eventually something will happen, and obviously it did.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I felt like I was watching LeBron for a minute when I was watching Jokic last night, because you could see him on the court coaching his teammates, telling them where to go, when to go, what the cue is for them to go to their spot. And I think that is the main reason, again, why the Nuggets are so successful, because the best player in the world also has one of the best IQs in the world. And it felt like I was watching LeBron James.
Yeah. On top of that, he also had 40 points, 22 boards, and 6 assists.
That too. Like that was unreal. I mean, Jokic
he also is a great coach.
He also happened to completely stuff the stat sheet. Any final thoughts? Thunder Nuggets, that was an amazing game last night.
I think it's going to go 7. Give me Denver.
You think so?
Yep.
Caden, do you have an early prediction here?
I would love for Denver to win it. I think the finals will be Thunder Celtics. So I think it might be Thunder. I'll go Thunder in 7.
You know, I think the Thunder just collapsed last night. I don't foresee them doing that again. The Nuggets would have to play very well to win this series. I might also just take the Thunder in this series, but I really want the Nuggets to win. Yeah, I really do. Not to hate on the Thunder, but another series, actually all series, every game won so far of the second round has gone the opposite way. Knicks Celtics, that was really entertaining to watch. Went to overtime. The Knicks prevail. What do you guys have to say on that?
I think this is the most overrated win ever. Celtics are going to take this very easily in 5, I think.
I unfortunately have to agree.
It's the Knicks' first win against the Celtics all year. That's come on.
It took the Celtics to make 15 of their 60 3-point attempts.
Come on.
To only lose by 3 points.
You think that's happening again? Joe Mazzulla's on them. He is on them. There's no way he's not. Tatum was chucking threes. Even Jaylen Brown didn't even play good. Like, Derek White was chucking threes too.
Yeah.
It was really stupid. It was kind of annoying to watch, in my opinion, because Boston, in my opinion, should have won that game very easily. They were up by how many points still going to halftime?
By at least 15.
They were up by at least
20. It was 20 at one point.
It was ridiculous to watch, just them crumble. And honestly, I blame Derek White and Jason Tatum. Why are you taking so many threes? There was opportunities where I saw Jason Tatum. He had a lane, and he did a step back three. You don't need that. You don't need that.
Yeah, maybe he just thought he could win the game by himself. But, also another thing to piggyback off of, because I also think the Celtics could win this series almost in 5, I would say. Maybe that's too strong of a take. But it also took OG Anunoby just absolutely balling out. I mean, if you just watched the highlights, you probably would have thought OG Anunoby had like 45 points.
Probably.
He hit multiple big-time threes to keep them in that game. And Mikal Bridges also came up with some clutch plays at the end there. But are we all in agreement that the Celtics are going to win this series?
Yeah, give me Celtics in 5.
Yeah, I mean, Nova Knicks. I like the Knicks, but they're 1-4 now on the season against the Celtics. It's
not going to stay consistent.
Yeah,
it's not.
I don't like to pick the Celtics, but.
Yeah,
the Celtics are going to walk away with this.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, and I think we're at such a level where the Celtics are so good that I don't think it matters what floor each game's being played on. They could go and win both of those games in New York.
Yeah,
I
for
think.
sure.
So I think a lot of us are leaning Celtics there. And then Pacers, Cavs. This one not quite as clear cut.
I love this.
Tyrese Halliburton leads the Pacers past the Cavs in Game 1. Game 2 tonight probably will already be over by the time this video is uploaded. What are your thoughts on Game 1? The Pacers came away with that. Austin, you're smiling. You just...
Man, give me the... Dude, I've been in Gingrich Fieldhouse, right, during a regular season game against Phoenix, and it was insanely loud
They
then.
whooped you guys.
Yeah, they whooped us.
Yeah.
It was insanely loud then. Dude, watching the Pacers play in the playoffs at home is oh my, I get chills.
It's electric
It's
basketball.
insane. Indiana's a basketball state. Everybody knows that. Mm-hmm. Indiana's just basketball galore. They have Caitlin Clark. And then the Pacers coming up. The past 2 seasons have been incredible. Dude, you're not going to see Hunter. You're not going to see Mobley. You're not going to see Garland probably tonight. They're all questionable. They're a game-time decision. I think Pacers are going to win Game 2 again in Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell cannot do it all himself. I think the Pacers are so deep, and they have such great lengthy wing defenders, and they have crazy shot makers in Andrew Nembhard, Tyrese Halliburton, and Pascal Siakam. Miles Turner he didn't go crazy in Game 1. Mm-mm. We could see a big Miles Turner game coming up. I think the Pacers
probably will see at least one, right?
Yeah, I think the Pacers are going to win this series. In all honesty, I don't think if Indiana goes up 2-0, they go back to Gingrich in Indiana, they're not going to win 2 games there. They're not going to lose. They're not going to lose 2 games in their home court, in my opinion, with a fully healthy roster. I think Pacers in 5. I don't
know about 5. Okay,
5 is interesting to me. It does. I didn't realize all the injuries that Cleveland's going through. I knew Garland was out Game 1. That definitely hurts it. I guess it depends. It depends when those guys can really return. Yeah. But I mean, getting a game in Cleveland is huge because they're an electric team at home, 100%.
I think Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Nesmith, those are the X Factor guys. I said that to James before the game.
Yeah.
Before Game 1, I said if Indiana's winning this game, it's going to be because of Andrew Nembhard and Aaron Nesmith. And look what happened. It was Andrew Nembhard. I think he had 27 points. What did he have? 23, 27?
17.
Oh.
Yeah, you're wrong.
Wait, that was on me then. I thought he had...
Was it... who actually was the leading scorer?
Nembhard had 23.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah. Andrew Nembhard. He had 23 points. Naismith played great defense, and he was scoring the ball. So I think that duo right there is going to be the reason that they're going to win the series.
Yeah, I could see it. I don't think 5... I think it could go as deep as 7, but, I think Tyrese is going to have a lot of people second-guessing themselves when he leads them to their second straight conference finals, probably against the Celtics. But the last team that we have, or 2 teams that we have to talk about is Warriors-Timberwolves. This is going to be interesting series to say the least. Probably one of the first 6-7 matchups that have happened. I actually don't know the stat on that, but
that's crazy.
That game will happen tonight. So game 1 will be over by the time this is uploaded, but we have not watched it yet. Has not happened. So
hasn't happened.
I know I already mentioned previously that the Timberwolves have the same advantage that the Rockets did. But the Warriors were able to play through it. But I think the Timberwolves have a little bit more experience. Not a little bit. They got more experience than the Rockets. So, just trying to think about, I mean, Rudy Gobert had 30 and 20 in the last game against the Lakers. Can you see that being a repeatable thing going and playing the Warriors, both of you? I mean, come on. I'm not sure if he can do that every night, but I think they can still assert themselves down low.
He had 30 and 20 on Rui Hachimura. Is he going to do that on Draymond Green? I don't see it happening.
I think you'll get that maybe one time, but he ain't having 20 rebounds. You think Draymond's going to let someone get 20 rebounds over
There's
him?
no way. Come on.
No shot.
There's no way.
He's too full of himself to be doing that. Are you kidding me? Draymond's going to hold Rudy Gobert to the highest standard of he's going to go into this series thinking Rudy Gobert is the best player in the world. That's what he's going to do because that's the only way he's going to be as crazy on defense as he needs to be. If he's going into the series thinking Rudy Gobert is the best center in the league, I have to do everything in my power to make sure he's not getting a rebound, not getting a tip in, or not scoring the basketball. That's going to be Draymond Green's entire plan. He's not going to worry about anyone else. He's definitely thinking, all right, Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid, nothing.
Some interesting matchups, though. I know Anthony Edwards says he wants to guard Steph Curry. Who's going to guard Anthony Edwards? I mean, so far no one has in this playoffs. It makes things interesting.
This is interesting. Is that like a Jimmy Butler matchup?
I was going to say, this is why you bring in Jimmy Butler.
Right.
You bring in Jimmy Butler to put them on the other team's best player, and he's going to give it 120%. He might still be having that lingering tailbone injury. I don't know. Regardless, though, Jimmy Butler, I think he's going to I don't think he's going to clamp Anthony Edwards by any means, but I think he's going to try to slow him down as much as he can. And I know Anthony Edwards he wants that challenge. He wants to be challenged defensively. He also wants to challenge Steph Curry like no other. So I think that's going to be the key matchup when it comes to this series. How good can Anthony Edwards guard Steph Curry? Who knows?
I don't know. I would like to argue. I am sure, Caden, you think this too, but against the Lakers, they win that series not just because of Anthony Edwards, but because Jaden McDaniels can step up and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. They can both shoot that thing, and when Anthony Edwards is at his best, he's finding them as opposed to forcing up shots. Absolutely. But I mean, he also needs to stay aggressive. There's a middle ground there that I think he needs to break, and I don't know. I think it'll be entertaining to say the least. But if you have to take somebody in this series, Warriors, Timberwolves, who you got?
I think I go Timberwolves in 6 or 7, probably 6.
I'm also going to say Timberwolves in 6. I think Anthony Edwards he's here.
Yeah.
I think this is the Anthony Edwards time. I don't see anybody on this team really stopping Anthony Edwards. I mean, Jimmy can slow him down. Anthony Edwards is him, dude. I don't think there's a world where Anthony Edwards just lets this Golden State Warriors team beat his Timberwolves team. I think this Timberwolves team is frankly better than the Warriors team, like just as a whole.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Timberwolves in 6.
I can agree with that. I think Timberwolves could even get it done. No, I'm not gonna say in 5. That's crazy. But no, I think they can absolutely get it done. But I have a little activity for you guys if we think we have enough time for it.
I love the games. I love the games.
So,
right,
this is not career playoff scoring. This is just 2025 playoff scoring. You've watched all these games.
Lock it in, Caden.
You should know who has the higher points per game average between our first two.
Can we make this a point system?
Oh.
Sure.
So I'm going against Caden.
Yeah. So there's a winner and a loser.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
And hopefully we can get this in before this camera dies. All right. Jalen Brunson or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Who is the better playoff scorer so far this year?
SGA, I think.
I'm also going to go with SGA.
So we got 2 SGAs, all right? Lock it in?
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson, he's averaging 31.1 points per game. Shai, 28.8.
Oh, my Lord.
I tried to keep it, I tried not to make it so they're like less than a point apart.
Sure.
That's 3 point, like 2.3. Yeah, I can do math, right? So hey, Jalen Brunson's outscoring supposedly the MVP, but I think you also have to remember that the Thunder blew out the Grizzlies in every game of that series.
He wasn't playing the entire game.
Yo,
exactly.
Pick a buzzer word. Mine is book.
Wait, what?
Pick a buzzword.
Oh, like to like buzz in first.
Oh, okay. I'll go Maxey.
All right,
Maxey,
I'm gonna go book.
Book and Maxey. All right, Anthony Edwards or Jason Tatum?
Book. Jason Tatum.
You say Jason Tatum, Caden. I guess.
Yeah, I'll go Ant Edwards. Maxey, Ant Edwards.
All right, so it's actually Jason Tatum.
Yes.
Jason Tatum's averaging damn near 30 a game. Ant's 27. That'll do, but not quite up there. Third one. Cade Cunningham or Steph Curry?
Maxey, Curry.
Austin?
I'll take Cade. Yeah, I'll take Cade. That's fine with me.
They're both very close. Steph at 24, Cade at 25.
Oh,
Cade actually prevails there. So what are we at now? Who's got what? Do you have one and Austin has two?
It's 2-0 right now.
It's 2-0.
Because we said the same player.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay. Jaden McDaniels or Jaylen Brown?
Book. Brown.
Maxey Brown. I was saying the same thing.
Yeah, no, I was trying to see if anyone would overreact to some of Jaden McDaniels' better games. I was hoping I'd get Jack Haskell here, but no. It is Jaylen Brown by like 6 points. Not even close. But McDaniels had some big games, so I thought maybe that could cloud your judgment a little bit. Now, this one I will say is close. James Harden and OG Anunoby.
Maxey, OG. Gotta be.
Oh, give me Harden, I guess.
It is, in fact, OG Anunoby's got 0.3 points per game more. He's averaging 19. James Harden averaged 18.7 in the playoffs. Not quite the level you'd think he's at after averaging like 23 in the regular season. But, again.
So what is it, 3-1?
3-1,
You gotta make this triple points.
Yeah, no, this one's worth triple. Last one. Jimmy Butler or Aaron Gordon?
Book. Aaron Gordon.
Maxey, Butler. I'll just split it up.
You have to because you're losing, but it is in fact Aaron Gordon by 1 whole point, 19.3 to Jimmy's 18.3.
Wow.
Kind of at unexpected levels.
Crazy.
I mean,
very surprising.
I have their season stats in hyperlinked in that doc there, but a lot of these guys, like Aaron Gordon, is taking a big time leap in production. I think like even McDaniels, he was averaging like 17 a game in the playoffs now. He only averaged 12 in the regular season. The main thing I want to point out, I mean, even OG Anunoby, who we touched on, you need your role players to play very well to keep up a good playoff team. But.
Agreed. Look at the Pacers. But Caden, good game. That'll be awesome. Had to take you down, my boy.
Loss.
Had to take you down, my boy. It's
Yeah.
all right. Thank you very much for coming on, Caden. That was incredible.
Oh, man,
hopefully we see more of you on Above the Rim.
Yeah, maybe we will.
That's going to do it for this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, peace.
Peace.